The July 18, 2017 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission is now called to order. We'll have the invocation by Commissioner Murray and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Vincent. Please stand as you're able.
Dear Father, thank you for bringing us here today. Bless the work of this commission. Be with the people who are making presentations, as well as with the commissioners as we make decisions, dear Father. Thank you for blessing our city of Longview with beauty, natural beauty, and pray that we can continue to make it so. In your holy name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. We will now ask for approval of the June 20 minutes. Were there any corrections?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. We do not have a consent agenda this evening, so we will go straight to the regular agenda. And before we start that, I need to tell you the procedure. The purpose of this meeting is to hear all pertinent testimony of those in support of and in opposition to the applications before the board. Tonight is the first of two public hearings required to approve a change in zoning. The board also considers plats. The procedure for public hearing items to be followed tonight will be: the public hearing will be opened and testimony will be heard in the following order. Number 1, the applicant; number 2, staff; and number 3, the general public in support and in opposition of the request. If you're a part of a large group with common interest, we ask that you appoint a spokesperson rather than have each individual restate the same information. When addressing the board, please begin by stating your name and address and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing on the matter will be closed and no further public discussion will be entertained. After each public hearing is closed, the board will vote on the request. Zoning requests and the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendations will go forward to the second public hearing, which will be conducted by the City Council on August 10, 2017. We have 3 items on the regular agenda. Item A.
Thank you. A public hearing will be held to consider application Z1704 filed by Acron Consulting, LLC, requesting to rezone approximately 13.71 acres of Abstract 38 W.H. Castleberry Survey, Tract 49-01, Section 3, from agriculture to single-family 4, located on Teneryville Road and west of Dumas Road.
Thank you, Angela. Is the applicant present? The representative of the applicant present? Thank you. If you'll come to the microphone, please, and give your name and address.
My name is Daryl Edwards. Address is 10312 Highway 271 in Gladewater.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Please tell us about your project.
Okay, so basically this land is currently occupied by a lot of abandoned oil and gas equipment, and this region really, we don't see any purpose for agriculture use from here on out with it. The western part of the parcel is floodplain land. However, the eastern portion, we're looking at the options of a residential area there. So hopefully the SF4 zoning would be possible for that, and then we'll base our plans on that.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of the applicant at this point? No questions? You may be seated if you would like.
All right, thank you.
And now the staff.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a rezone from agriculture to single-family 4 zoning district. When annexation occurs, the property is automatically assigned an agricultural zoning district when it's annexed. And then when development occurs, the property must be rezoned to the appropriate zoning designation. Teneryville Road is a minor arterial road, which is appropriate for this type of development as long as access management is followed. Staff finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with the future land use map and surrounding uses. Staff does recommend approval of this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Who makes the determination on minor arterial?
That is typically done by, I believe, TxDOT, correct? TxDOT with our MPO.
Has anybody been on Teneryville Road lately? That's not a minor anymore. It's awfully busy. Okay, and the west end is flood?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, now the same property owner owns the city of White Oak property?
Yes.
And is it all flood or part? Is the subdivision going all the
You
way
want to
through?
come to the microphone, please? Thank you.
Yes, sir, the same property owner does own the portion that is in White Oak. It's actually a separate parcel. This parcel actually carries on to Dumas Road as well, with that, I guess the LDR is a separate parcel, but you can kind of see, actually where the tan color is there is where we intend to build, right there, yes.
So there's no development on the White Oak side?
No, sir, not on the White Oak side. This is all in Longview. And as far as the being heavy traffic there, the crest of the hill is quite a ways to the east, so you've got plenty of visibility there.
I drove it out there, but it's unbelievable what Teneryville
Right.
Road is now.
Oh, I grew up in White Oak. That was our main road to Longview, so.
You know, Angela, define SF4 again, please.
SF4 is approximately 7,000, or it is 7,500 square foot lots, minimum 60 foot, minimum 100 foot deep. Those are both minimums. 60 times 100 is not 7,500, but that's our minimum lot size. So usually they have to go a little wider or a little deeper. The minimum house size is 1,000 square foot. And our minimum setbacks are 30 feet in the front, 10 on the rear, and 6 on the sides. And please be aware, those are all minimums. They can exceed that. They just can't go below it.
Great. So it's 1,000 feet.
Yes, sir.
Great idea.
Any other questions?
Move.
No, hearing no further questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The chair calls for a motion.
I'd move for approval.
We need to have the public
Wait a minute.
hearing, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so glad you all keep me on my toes. Yes, we must not overlook the public hearing. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome.
So now, those that want to speak in support of this project are invited to come to the microphone, one at a time. Anyone want to speak in support? No response? Anyone want to speak in opposition to the request? Please come to the microphone. We have no,
How about
Yes.
questions?
would you come to the microphone so we can hear it, please? Thank you.
I'm Rachel Darby, and I live at 3029 Dumas Road. And so I got a letter from you all stating that it's within 200 feet of my property. For one thing, when you were talking about Teneryville being a very busy road, it is the main thoroughfare between White Oak and Longview. And I live on Dumas is the crest of that hill. And they come over that hill going the speed limit for sure, I'll say. And it would be very difficult to pull out of there at certain times of the day without, you have to really be careful, to keep from risking because the sunshine and all. And I went to look at the land right before I came here, and I thought I would never get back on Teneryville again. So, and also too, to ask a question, how many homes are we looking at approximately?
Right now, we haven't quite got that determined yet, so we're gonna wait until At the moment, we haven't really determined that yet.
Is it going to be 5 or 10 or 100 or?
No, ma'am, probably in the 10 to 20 range is what I'm expecting. So it's just a matter of what parts of the land are usable and, yeah, how much dirt work we'd have to do. There's a lot that's gonna weigh into that, determining that.
Okay. How, have you determined the size of the lots? I mean, they gave the minimum, but.
Right, we'll go over the minimum, 7,500 will likely be 9,000 square feet, maybe to 10,000 square feet. I like having larger yards for these lots, so.
So with that then, and I'm not real familiar with acreage, et cetera, if you did the 13 acres and each one was 9,000 square feet, about how many?
They're gonna be roughly quarter acre lots. I mean, that would be a high number.
Okay, so we're talking 52 or?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am. Half of that parcel is not even usable. It's all
Okay,
floodland. So,
so-
the easiest way for what we've been trying to draw up, the lot there's one house that's kind of by itself.
Where, on
Right
Tenryville?
above the E on Tenryville there.
Yes, I know that
Okay,
house.
so that house,
Mhm.
everything would essentially have to line up against that property and have a large backyard against that property line.
Okay.
So it'd be just a single point of entry and
How
maybe just a
far-
cul-de-sac.
How far back would it to go then? Would it go back to that house's property line?
The one off of Martz Road,
No, the one off of Tenryville that we're talking about.
yes, ma'am, we'll try to determine that once we get there. It's, like I said, whatever the land allows us to do. We don't have to do a whole lot of dirt work and move things around, so.
So you really haven't planned
We-
very well, I mean, or completely, or
Right.
what you're going after
Yes,
then?
ma'am. We're just looking at the viability of it right now, if this is even possible.
When would you start this project if it's approved?
Probably within the next year, I'd imagine.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Mr. Edwards, did I understand you to say there'll be one ingress and egress off of Tenryville?
Yes, ma'am. The way we have it planned at the moment, there's kind of an oil and gas road entrance there, and I don't know, I'm assuming Tenryville's a Texas.
Tenryville is a TxDOT road, so they'll have to comply with TxDOT and city standards.
And based off of what I've measured out there, that entrance is TxDOT's minimum required distance to that next driveway. So we'll use that existing entrance, I guess as a easy
Okay.
reference, if you want to take a look at it out there.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to or ask questions of? Hearing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I will call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. All right. Item B, please.
Thank you. A public hearing will be held to consider application Z1705 filed by Retail Buildings, Inc., requesting to rezone approximately 0.1843 acres of Lot 21 and a portion of Lot 15 and 16, Block 70, Marshall Way addition from Single Family 5 to General Retail located north of East Marshall Avenue and east of 7th Street.
Yes, Mr. Schooley is going to abstain and will be leaving the meeting. Thank you. Is the applicant ready to, will you please come to the microphone, please, sir? Give us your name and address.
My name is Travis Crafton. I work for Johnson & Pace Incorporated, address 1201 West Loop 281, Longview.
Okay, thank you. Tell us about your project.
There are, bear with me, let me get my site plan here. There are 6 tracts of land off of Highway 80 or East Marshall. This is at the northeast corner of 7th Street and East Marshall. So it's the first set of tracts, and then if you see, those tracts are currently zoned for heavy commercial, C2. The portion north of that you see hatched, that is kind of a triangular shape, is what we are requesting to rezone from SF5 or Single Family 5 residential to general retail to allow for the proposed Brahms restaurant at that location. Just based on the layout and the property size, there's not enough property there for the parcels directly off of Highway 80, so we need a little bit more to the north, and of course, working with the property owners to the north to purchase that property, rezone to the general retail, and make sure we have adequate room for a buffer as we would be required off of that residential property, because it would have a drive-through as well. So we were requesting to rezone that from single-family residential to general retail to allow for that use.
Okay.
And there are 2 separate pieces of property that are involved for the rezone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crafton. Does anyone have any questions of the applicant?
Thank you.
No questions, we'll go to staff at this time. Thank you, sir.
The applicant is requesting a rezone from Single Family 5 zoning district to general retail. The applicant plans to rezone these parcel for a restaurant with a drive-through window, as the applicant has stated. The land to the south is already zoned heavy commercial, which would allow for a restaurant with a drive-through window. The properties to the north, as you can see on this map, are zoned residential. The second public hearing item will be for the specific use permit for the drive-through window, to allow for the drive-through window. 7th Street is a local street. However, Marshall Avenue is a principal arterial road, which is appropriate for this type of development as long as access management is followed. Staff finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with our future land use map and surrounding uses. Staff does recommend approval of this request. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions, commissioners? None? Thank you, Angela. Now we'll move to the public hearing. Would anyone in the audience that's in support of this project please come forward to the microphone? Seeing none, then we'll ask for anyone in opposition of this request to please come to the microphone. There appears to be none. Are there any further questions from the commissioners? Then the chair will call for a motion.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, Mr. Rice and Ms. Murray is second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. Now, item C.
Thank you. A public hearing will be held to consider an application S-1703 filed by Retail Buildings, Inc., requesting a specific use permit to allow for a restaurant with a drive-through window in general retail zoning district for Lot 21 and a portion of Lots 15 and 16, Block 70, Marshall Way Addition, located north of East Marshall Avenue and east of 7th Street.
Thank you. Any questions, anyone? No questions? Is there anyone, again, anybody in the audience that would like to speak in support of this agenda item? Hearing none, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, then we will close the general public comment section and ask for a motion from the commissioners.
Motion for approval. Second.
Mr. Rice and Mr. Vincent. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion carries. We will ask Mr. Scootly to return.
He may have left.
He may have left. Okay. We're going to assume that he has stepped out. Now we'll have staff update.
All items at the council meeting were approved. It was just one zoning item.
Thank you. Are there any citizen comments? need to be heard? If not, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending.